Bazaar Morning Call, live from the CNBC TV 18 headquarters in Mumbai.
Good morning. Welcome to Bazaar Morning Call this Monday morning. I'm Lata and Anuj and Sonia joining me from their respective homes. Well, there is a lot to cheer. I mean, drug companies, finally, humankind always believed that for every problem, our pharma researchers will be able to give us a solution. Now, something like a cure. I mean, for medium problems of COVID, Glenmark has come with a medicine. And of course, Remdesivir, now licensed to Cipla, is available for more serious cases. So it looks like we are putting some kind of a barrier. Both these are market positive news. But there is more market positive news. Look at the FII flow. I mean, it's not anymore a trickle. 1,200 crores is quite a sizable amount of money. So risk is perhaps back on the table, at least when they look at emerging markets. And of course, the overall boycott China, I don't want to use that phrase. It's not very healthy in terms of economy. But it has its positives for consumer durables, primarily for tires. Today, we should watch tires also very closely. All these entities, companies which faced a lot of cheap Chinese competition should be on our radar. And I think the fever pitch of the bullishness can be indicated that Morgan Stanley has said the bad news in NBFCs is over. I mean, that was at the bottom of the pile on March 23rd when the market hit a bottom. Even there, you're beginning to see positive noises. So the bulls quite clearly, or at least bullish sentiment, is in charge. We have to worry about the tepidness in Asia, whether that can rein in for the moment and the big rally we put behind us on Friday. But nevertheless, I think good news quite clearly is outweighing. Good morning, Anuj. What do you think of market positioning?
Good morning, Lata. Well, one thing that I've learned over the last 12 years is that once the market moves, we can all give reasons. And, that's what everyone does. We also do it, right? All it will require is just one decline of 400, 500 points in the Nifty, and we will find new reasons to justify that as well. But right now, the market is in expansion. You have to respect that. And, this buy on dips and consolidation is working on Friday. Even buying on breakout also worked. So, looking good right now. The erstwhile resistance, the 100-day moving average of 10,100 now becomes support for the market. So, that's, I think, your sacrosanct number to work with. That 10,400 unfinished business that I've been talking about, perhaps we are getting there. Perhaps we get there on expiry, who knows? But the basic trade for the market is to buy with 10,100 as your stop loss, because the momentum is just way too strong. As you said, FIs net bought quite a bit, though some of it was because of the FTSE rebalancing. But even then, I won't take anything away. 1237 crores of buying, and there was big delivery buying visible in names like Reliance, like in Bharti, ICICI Bank. So there's been a lot of buying. I think the bank Nifty is really interesting because that's the one index which is now in that zone. If it takes out this zone, 21,000 to 21,600 on a closing basis, then it has virtually no resistance till 23,000. And it's an oversold index even after the rally. So that's where perhaps if the money is chasing, there could be some chase here on. For the near-term traders, as I said, perhaps, the only trade that you have is, if you've missed the entire rally, even now, to be perhaps a reluctant bull with 10,070, 10,100 as your stop, and see where does this expansion take the market to. Sonia, good morning.
Hi Anuj, good morning. Lata, morning. So, for the market, the SGX Nifty is now indicating a downtick of around 20 odd points. Perhaps could be just some consolidation after what was a heady run. As you rightly pointed out, Sensex Nifty both at 3-month highs. So the run-up has been pretty substantial over the last couple of weeks or so, and big buying. You spoke about buying in heavyweight names. There was also a lot of buying in the Bajaj twins, the Bajaj Finserv, Bajaj Finance saw a big run-up last week. And this launch of FabiFlu by Glenmark, it gives us all hope, right, that there's some light at the end of the tunnel, and that light could be seen pretty quick. So I think that could be another sentiment boost. But Anuj, the US market sold off on Friday, and over there, I was just reading that there have been more than 30,000 COVID cases in just 2 days. This is the highest number of cases in the US since the 1st of May. So if there is some sort of pause in the global market rally, and if that leads to a pause in our markets as well, how does one approach it? I mean, you spoke about how a trader should look at it. But from an investor standpoint, if someone has missed out on this big rally, does it still make sense to buy now, or do you think that some sort of a pause could be on the cards?
I don't know if you've seen this Donald Trump clip of 30 seconds. It's very hilarious and it's going viral, where he talks about how, wives are telling their husbands who are portfolio investors that, darling, I love you. You've done so much and all. And, and Donald Trump says that all you have done is just keep holding to your stocks. And the markets had the record run over the last 30 or 40 days. A lot of the money in the last 2 months which has been made has required quote unquote no genius. Let's be very clear about it. It's a liquidity driven push that the market is giving you. We all know that, especially in our case, our market is well divorced from the macro reality. Like Vallabh Bhansali said that day, that you respect liquidity but don't trust it. So if you're a portfolio investor, just always be on lookout. Look, for portfolio investors, bear markets are always the best time to make portfolios. And if you made good portfolios in March, you're already making a lot of money. That's a different thing. But if you are one of those who looks at the market from a 6-month, 12-month or 2-year horizon, in that case, be very sure about this, that this is a liquidity driven push which is taking all markets higher, and we are no exception.
Yes, that point is taken. I mean, the divorce from reality. But I mean, I'm over the weekend of the view that the real economy is turning a bit. I mean, I went for a jog on both days, Saturday and Sunday, and you could see a little bit of activity, little bit, not a great deal. One side shops open on Saturday. Sunday, of course, everything was closed. So my sense is that at some point in time, we will restart. Anuj, you should get bolder, yaar. That is what will push the economy. Life is not so difficult. It's only a flu and it's got a medicine. Okay, I guess we have to convince more people about it. Yeah, you want to say something?
No, Lata, there's a very fine line between being bold and being realistic.
Absolutely.
I know my immunity levels, and that's why I said, to each his own.
All right.
So that's why, I'm just taking it slightly easy.
No, absolutely. I'm just saying that the extent to which people are willing to come out and take a risk is increasing. And to that extent, the economy perhaps will start taking a turn. At some point in time. Many of my cousins in Delhi have maids and drivers coming back to work. So, perhaps somewhere things will start turning. But that discussion for another day. For the moment, let's get you equity advice. Lawrence Belanco of CLSA says the sharp sell-off late last week resulted in some easing off of the euphoric sentiment readings seen in the Nasdaq and the Nikkei, as well as halting the rotation into the laggard value theme. This action is likely to lead to a period of further short-term whiplashes, resulting in a consolidation that digests the May-June gains. Interestingly, the well-followed 200-day moving average is acting as a support for the leadership markets and as resistance for lagging markets like Hang Seng, Straits and Nifty. Okay, so that looks like it's consolidation phase according to Lawrence.
Okay, so that's the view on the equity markets. But let's get you some money market views now. It's been a bit volatile for the rupee, and here's what you can expect at the start of the trading week. We have B. Prasanna of ICICI Bank, who says heightened pandemic risks again in various countries have brought back the risk of heightened volatility in global markets. This, coupled with a better than expected economic data from the US, has helped the dollar gain strength across the board during the last week. He expects this dollar trend to continue globally. Moreover, the rupee is expected to stay weak due to rising geopolitical risks. The rupee is likely to trade in a range of 75.95 to 76.70 during this week.
All right, and on bond markets, Prasanna says the sharp rally in corporate bond market amid persistent fund flow from mutual fund investors has provided additional tailwind to sovereign yields. However, any escalation in geopolitical risk amidst growth concerns could weaken sentiment. Given this environment, he expects the 10-year benchmark bond yield to trade in a range of 5.78 to 5.88 during the week.
Okay, by the way, the US market was down, but the futures are up again, and that's why you're seeing even the SGX Nifty recovering quite a bit. Here's Mangala Malu with the World View.
Global markets are swinging between the support of liquidity and resistance of higher COVID cases, and which is what we saw in Friday's trading session as well. The Nasdaq managed to eke out some gains, but it has been an outperforming index. A couple of things. For the week, we saw both the Dow as well as the S&P 500 gain about 1%. The Nasdaq gained about 3% We got some news over the weekend in terms of increasing COVID cases, and that wasn't good because 30,000 additional cases on both Friday as well as Saturday. Owing to that, Apple also has decided to reclose some of its open stores, and all the cruise liners have actually voluntarily decided to shut operations all the way up to September 15th. So this is something we need to keep on our eye. Apart from that, we have the European markets. All of them ended higher. The FTSE actually outperformed with a gain of about 1.1%, and that was on account of lower than expected contraction in retail sales data. Remember, last week US retail sales were also good, and this time around in the UK, May retail sales fell by about 13%. This again expectations of a 17% drop. Over and above all of that, there is tremendous liquidity. The UK debt to GDP, public debt to GDP, has crossed 1 for the first time since 1963. Oil prices are on the boil, gaining for 7 weeks out of 8. And now Brent is at around that $42 per barrel mark. Asian markets, however, are mixed as we speak, but moving off lows as US futures have recovered to about 100 odd points, and as a result of which the SGX Nifty indicates a start close to around that 10,210 mark.
All right, Mangalam, thanks a lot for that. Let's do one thing. Let's take a quick commercial break on that note, but lots coming up on the other side. There was so much news flow in the last 24 to 48 hours. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.